Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. It's the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, we're talking about one of the average person's largest assets, the home. Many people have sat on the sideline and decided not to buy because the rates and or the prices are just too high right now. So Barb, there are ways to make homes more attractive and more affordable to buyers. Tell us about that.
Well, Richard, I think it gets back to this pricing discussion again. But I get surprised every day. I had somebody that got a contract on one of my listings, and I was really shocked that they were able to get a 3% fixed mortgage for 30 years from some special program for low and medium income families. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, that's just awesome. you know. So there's if you look hard, you can find solutions out there to make the home more affordable. And you want to make sure that you find a way to market the home in such a way that the buyers put your home on the must-see list. So some of the things that we do, there's an awful lot of military veteran homeowners out here in the Pikes Peak region right now that are sitting on super low interest rates. So when they go to sell, if they're willing to let their VA loan be assumed, that buyer, all they have to do is bring the difference in cash, and they can walk straight into that loan with that low payment, which is incredible. I mean, if you look at like an average mortgage balance right now, say 500,000, over the life of the loan, having an interest rate of 2 or 3% versus 6.5% would actually save that buyer about $500,000 in interest and a lot of money in payments. So these are the kind of things that our MLS won't let us market. We can't put stuff like that in our description. Is that dumb or what?
That would be exceedingly dumb, in my opinion.
But I found a way around it. And so far, I haven't been taken to the MLS police about that because I want the public to know about the home and also what are the special programs that can help them get into a home. Another example would be if they have a house to sell. Most agent solution to a house to sell is, well, we'll wait till our house goes under contract and then make a panicky offer and hope that everything timing wise works out. Or we risk not getting that home that we really want because our home is not under contract. So we have 6 different buy before you sell programs. Some allow you to take your equity out without having a payment, and it just puts a lien on your current home. Some of them actually, these are lenders that do it. They will go in and actually buy your next home for cash and then let you take your time selling without having to make 2 payments. So there's some fabulous solutions out there, and I would do that if I was in that situation because it keeps you from missing out on the perfect home. So we know how to market these to the public so they know those programs are available, and that helps put our sellers' listings on the must-see list for the buyers. Like, wow, I can get this home for this low of a payment and be able to walk right into a low interest loan like that. I want to see that house. And there were some buyers that kind of just said, oh, financially I'm out, and they're sitting on the sidelines on buying a home because the payment structure is so high. Even rent is high right now. Some of these buyers, I've seen them go live with family and save a huge down payment to make it more affordable, which I think is another really great strategy. But there's a really good opportunity for sellers right now to attract the buyers. The builders do this too. I just had one of my agents, my beloved agent, Jen, brought a buyer to a new construction site and they had gone out and purchased low interest mortgages in advance. So this buyer walked right into a 3% mortgage on a brand new home. They are just happy as clams. So, and the builders do it. Why can't we do it? So I am doing it with some of my sellers that let me do that. Other things that we see are the interest rate buy downs. So typically, what happens without you offering these programs is that the buyers will come in and go, oh, okay, I'll pay the price, but will you pay 10, 20,000 in closing cost? Now, most sellers experience absolute sticker shock when they get that request. They're like, what? The buyer wants me, so I got to pay all the commission and title and settle up taxes and the HOA transfer fee. And now I got to pay the buyer's loan closing costs too. So yes, that's what they're asking for. But you can offer it up front and be able to command a higher price because they're just trying to get into the home with a low payment, and it turns a maybe buyer into a real buyer. So don't turn these buyers away. Find ways to make it work. We do this all the time. I have one closing this week where the buyer asked for 10,000 in closing costs. So we split the difference. We went up in price by a little bit to cover half of those closing costs, but the other half were covered by the seller. And the buyer's like, that works. I just had a cash problem and that we'll take care of it. And boom, they're closing, they're under contract. So buyers typically are asking for concessions, especially on prices below 500,000. And those costs are negotiable. You can go back and forth with a number. What I did just last weekend, they asked for 10,000. Seller's only willing to pay 7, but I let the agent know, hey, if the buyer really wants closing costs, we can go up in price by that difference and cover all of it. Because we know that we have similar sales that will prove the value. So we won't run into an appraisal problem and they'll have enough cash to make it work. So that is called negotiating. And that's what actually happened. The buyer said, okay, fine, I'll pay a little bit more money, but I'll also get all of the closing costs that I asked for and get my lower payment, which is what I really, really want. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how smart sellers are finding ways to attract buyers to their homes, especially in today's market where the prices are just gradually declining, so much so that it's kind of surprising that, we set a price and then a month later it's not working. So we help people do this week in and week out, and I can help you position the home so it lands on every buyer's must-see list. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. The host of the program, Barb Schlinker, you want her as your real estate voice. She is the owner-proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Reach out to her at 719-301-3900. And today we're talking about how to position your home so it lands on every buyer's must-see list. More of that, if you would, Barb.
Well, absolutely. So, what the market's doing right now, typically we go into the summer. That's when most of the homes hit the market. That's when, as a home seller, you actually have a lot more competition because people want to move when their kids are out of school. And so you'll see a lot of homes hit the market. You'll also see a lot of more sales going on. But that means for a home seller, you've got competition. So even though sales are slightly higher, I would say net sales are probably a little bit down as they were compared to a year ago. So you have to make yourself and your house stand out. And that's what we help home sellers do all the time. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. You need a good strategy to sell your home. This shouldn't be guesswork. People really hate the uncertainty. And right now, the buyers are very well educated. They're comparing everything. So the 4 keys to getting it right is number 1, pick the right agent, prepare the home properly, make sure you price it right and price it strategically to make the buyers go, oh, well, here's these homes on the market, but I want to see that one because that looks like the best deal. And you can do that with incentives as well, including things like offering buy downs and different kinds of financing. Did you know, Richard, that anywhere from 70 to 80% of people that are buyers out there have a house to sell? Do you realize that that number was that high?
Actually, Barb, I had no idea that that number would be that high.
Yeah, it's quite a few. And most of the agents really don't have any kind of solution for it other than the absolute panic part of, oh my God, I got to time 3 different sales at the same time. I have a client going through that right now. That's what she chose. But basically, we got her home on the market. We got it under contract right away. She goes under contract contingent on her home closing in another area. And then that seller is also buying another home. So it's a 3-way transaction. And she's kind of stuck in the middle where the place that she's going to won't get out because the seller for the house that she's buying wants to put new carpet in her new home, and you're just going to have to wait, and it creates a lot of stress to try to juggle all those balls and get all these things coordinated at the same time. And there are other solutions for that where you don't have to worry about it and would take a lot of the stress off of a process that's already quite stressful. But at the end of the day, if it's not priced right, it's not going to move. I talk about that almost in every segment. And why do some homes fail to sell? Well, I think it's pricing. For me, that's a 90% solution, because we just sold a home last week that was basically a crack house. It was really gross. It was condemned. You couldn't go inside. But because they priced it right, they had multiple offers and it sold for like 50,000 over asking price. Sometimes it's condition, sometimes it's just poor marketing, but at the end of the day, pricing trumps all of that. But if you have bad marketing, bad photos, I'm surprised, Richard, still to this day, I'll look at listings and go, oh my gosh, this is a $900,000 property. And the agent was too cheap to take professional photos. It's obvious she used her smartphone. I'm like, give me a break. Buyers are expecting more, and some buyers will move on if they don't like the way it looks. And then we also have the cash offer option. So there's some people that just don't want to deal with showings. They don't want to deal with open houses. They don't want to fix anything. They just want it sold and to move on. So we can help them, because typically we show up with anywhere from 6 to 12 offers on every listing. And then we also have our own database of buyers that will come in and buy their home. Some of them will say, hey, leave whatever you don't want, we'll take care of it. Or they'll let them stay after closing so they can move at their pace. That's what a lot of home sellers want these days, because the whole moving process, especially as we get older, is rather a challenge for most people. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how to prepare your home for sale and do it the right way. Plus, Barb has her hot new listings. Stay tuned for that.